Yep. All right, let's pivot because Penny Hardaway had himself an interesting week, and I know that T.O. has something to say about it. I'm sure that Fanta has something to say about it. So I'll go to you first on this one, T.O. Penny Hardaway on Thursday night ripped the media criticizing them for the way that he's been treated, some of the questions about whether or not he's good enough. I believe he said, "Stop asking me stupid fucking questions, bro," is a direct quote. And he said that his team is it's too young. He's dealing with 17, 18, and 19-year-olds playing against grown men. And he did this about 3 weeks after he ripped his old players for saying that he needed to play the young guys and the old guys wouldn't buy it. So he's not really picking a lane. He came back on Friday and he apologized. And then on Saturday night, they somehow managed to squeak out a win over Tulsa, who is 0-6 in the AAC right now. T.O., what's going on in Memphis, man? It does. I feel like Penny needs a therapist or something at this point.
I think Penny is overwhelmed. I think that's just what it comes down to. And I feel like Penny has had so much success at the lower levels of college basketball that he doesn't feel like he has to take into account what Larry Brown says as much as he probably should. Or it's you want smoke, you got smoke. I feel like we've said it time and time again. He wanted all the smoke. He's getting all the smoke. And now we can't tell if there's fire or it's smoke. I'm not sure what it is, but there's so much to unpack. I mean, he's irritated. He's blaming his older guys, and then his freshmen don't play well. It's a mess all the way around. And it's amazing to me that they're just not very good because they're so talented. Even those three freshmen that he was starting, what was it, Minot, Bates, and like, dude, those freshmen are really, really good. Like, what do you?
Well, here's the thing. We just spent the first 30 minutes of the show talking about how good Bruce Pearl does at getting guys to buy in, how well Shaka does at getting guys to buy in, role acceptance, role allocation, the whole is better than the sum of the parts. Whatever cliche you want to use, Shaka and Bruce are great at it. And Penny has been horrible at it this season. When you have that kind of infighting in your roster, in your locker room, you're never going to be able to have any kind of success. When you have 2 5-star freshmen walk in, Fanta, and you have a team that is coming off of a win in the NIT, and you can't find a way to get some kind of harmonious marriage there, to get everybody to buy in and to accept, like, hey, this is how it's going to go. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance when your guys care more about outscoring a teammate than they do about winning a basketball game. When you're more worried about whether or not you're starting over Amani Bates or Amani Bates is starting over Landers Nolly, when you're more worried about that than you are about beating Georgia, who is fucking terrible.
It's a disaster.
That's a major problem, Fanta.
It is a major problem. This is not smoke. It is fire. This has been a fire this year for the Memphis Tigers.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's been brutal. And I can't put it on the kids. I can't, because it's your job as a leader of the program to do just that. And what that was on Thursday night, I'm sensing a lot of pity. I'm sensing a lot of you should feel sorry. Sensing a lot of you guys don't know what I'm going through. This, that, and the third. You're making too much money. You're making too much money to be going through what this program's gone through this year in, at the end of the day, a weak conference. You're beating Tulsa by 2. You're beating Tulsa by 2. It's time for change, by the way, down in Tulsa. Memphis basketball is that very, very good sign outside of a restaurant that was great 40 years ago. You walk in because I'm gonna give you guys an example here, okay? And this might be why I have a little bit more girth here. So growing up, you as a kid would read your summer reading books, right? You do your summer reading for school. And if you did your summer reading and you did it the right way, you'd come back to school in the fall and they would give you these tickets and they said, book it. And they had the big Pizza Hut logo. And the Pizza Hut logo meant that you got a personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut if you walked in. So I was one of 4. So the whole Fanta family on a snow day is going into Pizza Hut. Okay. You could get your personal pan pizza. I was a little hungrier than my 3 siblings. I'd take the $4.99 lunch buffet. You'd have a field day. Remember the glasses that were red with the ice and the fountain soda? I mean, that was vintage Pizza Hut. By God, in 2022, if you saw me walking into a Pizza Hut, the world is freezing over, especially in New Jersey or New York. Are you kidding me? I think I'd be put in jail. The point is, it was great 30 years ago. People loved it. They loved the pan pizza. Then they figured out, they're like, as the years go on, it's like, no disrespect, but come on. Memphis is that. They're like a Pizza Hut. Okay, like in theory, it looked great at one point. That pan pizza looks so beautiful, golden crust. It looks fantastic. And then it's like now it's like, man, I remember the old days when you went up to a pizza, you drove up and you saw the Red Hut, like the traditional Red Hut. It was a specific building. Now those are no more. The brand's still kind of there, but it doesn't taste the same. It's not what it was. And that's what Memphis basketball is. You can't just win with glamour. And that's kind of the motto of this podcast. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be fit. It's got to be role allocation. And I can't blame the kids in this situation in Memphis. You have more than enough talent. The fact is, it's late January, and you have no idea what you're getting game to game from your team. And that is on you, Penny Hardaway. It is.
Yeah, my biggest thing is that he's spent this entire time blaming everybody else, when the fact of the matter is, when you're the head coach and you have this level of talent and you can't get guys to buy in, and you've built a roster that doesn't have a point guard, where you are trying to force fit a 17-year-old that has never played as a lead guard, who is wired to score and wired to shoot and has done it at a very high level over the course of his entire life. When your roster hinges on turning that kid into Penny Hardaway as a 17-year-old that weighs 175 pounds, it's on you, man. You brought in a lot of talent, but you built a bad roster.
We're approaching
you have a lot of good basketball players, and you have a bad roster. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, we're approaching apathy. I think people are falling off the Memphis train, and it's not good because they've been able to recruit. And if you see that building, whenever, I can't remember, I think it was Wichita, they were playing at home. That building was jumping. When they played really well, they had a team meeting and then played well for 2 games. I told you guys that stuff isn't, those team meetings aren't sustainable. But like, it has to be held accountable by the coach, period. Point blank, period. And I don't think I'm the only one in this. Obviously, we have to talk about Memphis a little bit, but people just don't care anymore. It's gotten to a point that after he did that, we've jumped into apathy. Like, it's like,
yep, bingo.
The only reason we're talking about him right now is because Penny Hardaway went nuts in a press conference. That's the only reason they get any level of attention. I'll be honest. I did not realize that they were playing yesterday until the game was over and someone sent me a text. And you see, that was like, hey, you see Memphis finally got a win? And I was like, they played today?
They were down. They were down 17 at half, I think, or 15 at half. I have it right here.
That's where we are with Memphis basketball right now. Is that
13? They were down 46-33 at half.
The people that get paid to cover the sport aren't even paying attention to them when they play. That's what Memphis basketball is. That's what Penny has done to them. So I don't think it's time to fire him yet, but you need to light a fire under his ass and say, look, man, like, this, you ain't getting it done, and you need to start looking inward on this one.